I have honestly never changed a tier list as much as I did after the new tank meta. Yo, what is up guys, and welcome to another Wild Earth video. And as I just said, today I'm going to be sharing with you guys a tier list for every single role in the game. And I was making a whole new jigsaw puzzle. It was like everything was moving around. It was ridiculous. So I'll talk about it all. I think this may be a pretty long video because I have a lot to talk about, obviously. I am gonna make a tank Teemo video very soon, but because I told you guys if the Diana video previously reached 1,000 likes, I would make a tank Teemo video, and it reached 1,000 likes within like 11 hours. So, as promised, tank Teemo is probably gonna be coming out tomorrow. For this video, let's make a goal as well. 1,000 likes for Singed. Yeah, I'll do Singed because Singed got a complete new build. His playstyle completely shifted. If you guys want to see that, I'm gonna make a Singed video anyways in like a week or so. But if you guys really want to see it soon, I could make it right after the Teemo video if you want to. So yeah, if you want to see that, make sure you give this video a like. Also, I am doing a skin giveaway. All you have to do is put down a comment under this video to enter. So, surprisingly, a lot of champions got buffed indirectly because of this patch. And what I mean with indirectly is like they didn't get an actual buff, right? Like they didn't get a new good item. They didn't get an actual buff. But, for example, Gwen counters tanks. Tanks got buffed, so people are going to pick a lot of tanks. Which indirectly means Gwen gets buffed as well, because she's good into tanks. And believe it or not, Gwen right now is the strongest Baron laner in the game. It's crazy because you actually won't see a lot of Gwen in ranked because everyone is too busy playing tanks. But I can promise you guys right now, Gwen is still is absolutely broken right now. She already used to be insanely good in the Baron lane, but now it's even crazier because she doesn't care about the new tank items. She doesn't care at all because she does true damage. She does true damage and percentage HP damage. So if you see a lot of tanks, which you are obviously going to see like 95% of the games, just pick Gwen in the Baron lane and absolutely demolish the enemy. I need to tell Lonely Kid or Andros or something to make a Gwen video. Actually, Lonely Kid did a Gwen video for my YouTube channel like 2 weeks ago. You can look it up, HellsDevil Gwen, and you can watch some Gwen content if you want to, because now you need to get good at Gwen. Now is the patch where you can abuse the enemies with Gwen. So next up, we got my boy Mundo. So Mundo is one of the champions that pretty much benefited the most from the new items. He is so unbelievably powerful, like so strong in the Baron lane. He can pretty much beat any matchup except for Vayne. We'll talk about this later. And he just counters a lot of stuff as well. It's just incredibly powerful. And now with the new items, he becomes an unkillable god in the late game. And he does more damage as well because there's new items that help him a lot with it. Ridiculously powerful Baron laner right now, Mundo. And I will make a video for him very soon. Even in the jungle, so really strong. Fiora is another one of those champions that got buffed indirectly. She doesn't really utilize many of the new items, but indirectly she got buffed because Fiora counters tanks, right? She does true damage. She does percentage-based true damage. She can 1v1 a lot of the tanks that are very good in the Baron lane right now. So Fiora got buffed indirectly. She was already strong. Now she's even stronger. Same story as Gwen. Now Aatrox is a completely separate thing. He is still incredibly powerful in the Baron lane. A bit hard to play. But even in this tank meta, he's very powerful. Also because he does incorporate percentage HP damage with his passive. So he's still good into tanks. He is still pretty good into tanks. So like, Aatrox is honestly just so powerful that he's still sitting in the S+ tier. Camille, you guessed it, yet again, another champion who got buffed indirectly. And you know what the interesting thing is? Everyone is thinking that tanks are broken, tanks, blah blah. But people keep forgetting that, hey, champion like Vayne, champion like Gwen, champion like Fiora, and someone else that I actually need to pull up is this dude, are gonna get indirectly buffed. So Camille is already really good. She's now really easy to play as well. Like, it's so easy to play this champion. Very strong split pusher. She's good into squishies and she's good into tanks. She's just always good, but especially into tanks. During those 1v1s against Garen, Mundo, you know, Malphite, any of those champions, she will destroy them because she's an anti-tank champion. She can heal and she can do a lot of damage with all of it. Garen, of course, it's a tank. He loves the new tank meta, right? Like, some of the new items are really good on Garen. For example, the Twin Guard and then the other one. Not the Soaring Crown, the other one. That one is good in the later stages of the game. Now, Gragas, you can play tank Gragas, but it's mostly AP Gragas that's sitting in the S plus tier. Believe it or not, full AP Gragas, even though it's not good against tanks at all, is still so ridiculously strong that he is still sitting in the S plus tier. AP Gragas literally completely gets countered by the current meta, but he doesn't care because it's AP Gragas. He's still gonna one-shot enemy squishies, and even against tanks, he's gonna do okay damage. But for example, if you're against a Mundo, like AP Gragas is not gonna do anything. But I want you to understand that AP Gragas is not sitting on top of the S plus tier anymore. This is the middle of the S plus tier, so still incredibly powerful and the top percentile of the champions. But you have to be a bit more careful drafting him. You have to make sure the enemy doesn't have a Mundo, for example, to really play him. Besides that, if the enemy doesn't have that many tanks, he's gonna be really, really powerful. Next up, we got Jax. And Jax as well, the Twin Guard is so good on Jax. You know why Twin Guard is really good on Jax? That's the item that gives you a lot of armor magic resist. And after, if you enter battle, if you hit the enemy once, you're gonna get 30% bonus magic resist, 30% bonus armor, and 20% tenacity. Let me tell you why this is completely broken on Jax. Jax's ultimate already gives him armor and magic resist when you use it. Now add the Twin Guard to it, it will give you 55 armor and 55 more magic resist. Then 30% of your total armor and magic resist gets added as well. Essentially, you become unkillable to everything except true damage for 8 seconds or so. If you can play around this combination of Jax's ultimate and the Twin Guard, which is surprisingly easy to do, then this champion is ridiculously powerful right now. Ridiculously powerful. Combined with the ability of his dodge, he can literally dodge enemy abilities and take 25% less damage. I mean, what else do you need, guys? What else do you need on the champion? Jax was already so powerful in the Baron lane, and the Twin Guard perfectly synchronizes with his build. Perfectly. So yes, go pick him up. Sett is another champion that really benefits from the tank items. Amaranth Twin Guard is really nice. And honestly, the other one as well. The third one, I don't know the name. The one that gives you a shield when you're low HP. Really good on Sett as well. And Spirit Visage is another item that's really good on Sett, because he gets the barrier from his second ability. And don't forget, Sett's passive heals him up as well. So like you can enter battle, go out of battle, and if you have a Spirit Visage, you're gonna heal back up really fast. Really fast, especially if you're very low HP. So Sett is very strong, and his lane matchup is pretty good as well. And now let's talk about the champion everyone hates, but we gotta acknowledge. Vayne Baron lane. It's as if the devil couldn't get worse, but it still got worse. You know, Vayne Baron lane was already the devil of the game. You know, normally Teemo is the devil of the game, but in Wild Rift, it's Vayne Baron lane. Now, she's even stronger. And to be fair, like I didn't even justify how strong she is by putting her here. Like now that I'm thinking about it, I would actually put her somewhere here. Because the thing, you know, there's one problem of Vayne Baron lane. There's only one problem, which is you as a Baron laner generally need to be somewhat tanky. Because if you actually look at the best Baron laners, you know, it's not like super tanks, but tanky enough. You know, tanky enough, tanky enough, tank. Everyone is a tank until we get to like the bottom of the S tier. So for her to sit up here is crazy, right? Like, why though? Why do you need to be a tank in the Baron lane? Because generally, before this update, it like people just always like to pick damage champions. You know, Lee Sin in the jungle, mid laner that does damage, enchanter support, and an ADC. All that is left is a tank. But now in this new update, everyone is playing, you know, tank supports. Everyone is playing tank junglers. So now, if you have that tank support and the tank jungler, you can get away with playing Vayne. And now people are playing more tanks, so you can get away more often with Vayne. And now Vayne is much better because more enemies are gonna pick tanks. Because if the enemy picks Mundo, you as a Vayne are just like gonna destroy him. He has no chance. Like, he literally has to stay under his turret and farm. He cannot do anything. And even if he's under his turret, you're gonna kill him. If you play Vayne Baron lane properly. you have to make sure to watch my Vayne Baron Lane videos because I'm actually really, really good at playing Vayne Baron Lane. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna release a new Vayne Baron Lane video. Just again, right? Like, because now she's gonna be so unbelievably good. Next up is Wukong. Yet again, a tank. He loves the new items. Very, very strong in the Baron lane. His first ability is really, really good for trading as well. Gives him the healing. And Divine Sunder is a core item on him. And Black Cleaver is a core item on him, which are two anti-tank items as well. Which makes him even stronger this patch. Malphite. You can play full AP Malphite. Or you guessed it, you can play tank Malphite. Really, really powerful in the Baron lane. And he also really benefits from the new items. So next up is Urgot. And this champion I had a lot of mixed feelings on. He is good. He is, you know, he's good, but it's nothing special because the thing is, in a 1v1 in his lane, he's very powerful. Like that one, he's really, really good at. But during team fights, he's very tanky. But I don't know. It's like it feels weird. He feels like a coin flip champion. I don't know if I'm saying it wrong, but when I play him and what I'm seeing is like one fight he's gonna do like crazy damage, you know, with his legs where he shoots it on the enemy, or where he dashes to the enemy and throws someone behind him and gets a free kill and gets to execute on his ultimate. And then the other fight, he will engage, and the second ability, you know, the pew 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 is literally gonna do 0 damage. I don't know, it feels like a coin flip champion. But you know what the beauty is of Urgot? He is so tanky. He is so tanky. Even if you're behind in the game, a squishy champion is very unlikely to win a 1v1 against Urgot. So like as an Urgot, you won't get punished as much by the game. I feel like he's a bit of a beginner-friendly champion, as in like even if you're behind, you can still do well. Just like Garen, right? Like Garen is a good example of that as well. Even if you're behind, you still have your ultimate to do well. Same with Urgot actually. His ultimate does a flat execution of 25%, even if you're 10,000 gold ahead or 10,000 gold behind. And his kit, it's like percentage-based damage. He deals a percentage of the enemy HP with his passive, right? So like even if you're behind, you can still do fine with Urgot. So I feel like it's a very beginner-friendly champion. But throughout the patch, when people start to understand Urgot, I feel like he's just okay. S tier, right? Like just S tier. He's just sitting and chilling in the S tier. That's what I would say about him. Next up is Singed. And I'm like, I was this close to putting Singed in S plus tier, but I mean, no. Not S plus, but he is S tier. There is a new Singed build that you can go for. Rylai Scepter, Soaring Crown, basically every single new item with a Rylai Scepter and then a Leandris. Or a Riftmaker. I still have to test out Riftmaker to see if it's worth it, but for now, Leandris. And let me tell you, early game you'll struggle. Because you'll struggle with tankiness. But late game, this is the same story as Jax. When you get the Amaranth Twin Guard, and you use your ultimate gives you armor and magic resist. Don't forget about this. Amaranth Twin Guard is going to add another 30% to that. You see, you will become unkillable. And if you add the conditioning rune to it as well, you can guess. Now, if you add Mercury's threats to it too, that's 35% tenacity. And Amaranth Twin Guard gives you another 20% tenacity. So you're going to have 55% tenacity. Your fart gas is going to slow the enemies and it's going to burn their HPs all the time. The enemies cannot catch you because you have around 50-55% tenacity. And you're going to have a Flash, Ghost, and Proto Belt. However, this is late game. This is all late game talk. Early game, you will struggle. And that's the only pain with Singed. And that's the only reason why I have not put him in the S plus tier. Because you really just have to push through the early game, right? You have to push through it, get yourself to 3 items. 2 items, you're going to be okay. But 3 items, that's the power spike. Because then you have a Rylai Scepter, Soaring Crown, and Amaranth Twin Guard. Then when you have these 3 items, you're slowing the enemy, burning the enemy, and you're getting the magic resist, armor, magic resist, and the tenacity. That's the moment where you enter late game Singed. Where you use your ultimate, you become unkillable. That's the moment. But that is why I haven't put him in S plus tier. Next up is Shen. Oh, I spit all over my mic. Oops. Next up is Shen. Shen is a bit of a questionable one. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I haven't played Shen in this new update yet, but I've seen it. It's good. It's just good. Because he also loves the tank items. But I don't know. I personally really don't like Shen in solo queue. Because like every time I play Shen, I am not bad at Shen. But I just can't solo carry the game as much as any other champion on this list. Like, it's just crazy. he really relies on his team. Like if you have a really good Master Yi, for example, in your team, Shen is going to be invaluable. You use your ultimate on the Master Yi, taunt the enemies, and he's going to kill everyone. But if you don't have a good player in your team, you're the only good player, then you're screwed. Like it's not like you're going to be able to do something with Shen. Sure, you can win 1v1s in lane. He's good during those 1v1s. But what are you going to do in a team fight? Are you going to kill 5 people? Of course not. Shen cannot do that. So that's honestly the main reason I've put him in the S tier. I would say he's S plus tier in competitive, but ranked is not competitive. So yeah. Riven is fine. She actually went down a little bit. She used to be S plus tier because she really doesn't like the tank meta. Riven really likes, like squishier champions. She doesn't want to be matched up into these tanks. Like Mundo, for example, is gonna destroy her. All the champions in the top are gonna be much stronger than her. So she just doesn't like the tank meta right now. Now Sion does like the tank meta, guys. He becomes so unbelievably tanky. However, it's not as good as you would think. Like, sure, it's good. Sure, it's good, but he doesn't really benefit as much from the new items. But don't get me wrong, it's good, but it doesn't make him that much better than before. You know also why? Because they nerfed Sion. Sure, the items are pretty good on Sion. They're not even exceptionally good. But they also nerfed Sion. They nerfed the stunning duration of his first ability. And something else. They nerfed something else about him as well. So, sitting in the middle of the S, just a comfortable Baron laner, he's still okay. Guys, Renekton got destroyed. He used to be like S plus. Honestly, like, no joke. You know what? No joke. Like, he's actually somewhere here. Yeah. Cannon is not this bad, by the way. You can see, like, I am changing my opinion on some champions because it's a bit of a... Like, this is why I never make tier lists immediately after the patch, because I do need some time to think about it and evaluate every choice that I make. So, it's a bit hard. That's why I wait a few days. I actually tried to play as many champions of these as I could to give a good decision. Darius is great. Darius also likes to play against low damage tanky enemies, right? Like Darius also kind of indirectly got buffed because Darius doesn't care about armor and magic resist because his ultimate does true damage and he has a black cleaver. So getting an Amaranth Twin Guard is not going to help you much against Darius. But the problem is, champions that counter Darius got better. For example, Vayne, Teemo, tank Teemo. Fiora. Well, Fiora is a bit of a question, but Mundo. Mundo hard counters Darius. Like, you can never play lane against Mundo. And Urgot. Urgot is also good against Darius. So, there's a lot of champions that are good into Darius that got buffed. So, Darius indirectly got buffed, but he also indirectly got nerfed. And see, the buff doesn't compensate for the nerf. So, he indirectly... The net value is that he got nerfed a little bit. Got it? I don't even know what I'm talking about. But yes, that's my theory about Darius right now. Now, Olaf, guys. Olaf. Oh, yoy. This champion is like... I haven't played him. That's the problem. But I've seen it. Olaf counters tanks. Olaf definitely counters tanks. However... Yet again, Olaf Baron lane is a meh. It's meh. It's like it's the same story as Darius, really. Like in the Baron lane, well, not exactly the same, but in the Baron lane, playing Olaf is a little bit hard right now. Even though they buffed Olaf Baron lane, I would still say he's really not that strong in the Baron lane right now because there's so much healing in this game right now. I don't know. I just don't think Olaf Baron lane is gonna be a thing. Olaf jungle is a different story, but we'll get to that in the jungle tier list. Yone is okay, nothing interesting. Now, Teemo, as I said, I have a tank Teemo video for you guys already, and no joke, it's actually really good. I genuinely think it's better than full AP Teemo, because full AP Teemo is only really good when you're snowballing, right? Like you can one-shot enemies, but tank Teemo, especially now, because people don't really understand how it's working, is exceptionally powerful because people will go on you expecting to one-shot you because you're Teemo, right? You're squishy, but you're gonna be hella tanky. They can't one-shot you. So they're gonna be wasting their times on you and you just run away. You run away, you blind them, you throw your traps, and you're still doing a lot of damage because you have the Soaring Crown. And you know what? I'm not gonna reveal the build. I'll reveal the build later. Tomorrow, probably. I'll probably upload the video tomorrow. Next up is Irelia. Irelia is okay. She doesn't like this meta at all, but she's okay because it's Irelia. But keep in mind, she got nerfed. Cannon, Generally, Cannon doesn't like this meta, but he's still okay. You can play Cannon for sure. 100% you can play Cannon. Like, he's good. You can just go Giant Slayer on Cannon if you're up against a lot of tanks. Build a Leandris as well, and you're going to be able to deal with tanks. Not as easily though, but you can still deal with them. You can still provide a lot of value for your team. However, keep in mind, just like Vayne, you need to make sure your team has enough tanks for you to pick Cannon. Next up is Warwick Baron, and this one is a bit of an interesting one. I actually played him twice today, and I feel like I just need to get better at him because I thought that Warwick should be able to kind of dominate the lane now, because there is something not a lot of people are talking about. Warwick Baron lane got a massive buff this patch. He refunds 50% of the cooldown when he executes a minion with his first ability. However, I feel like Riot needs to do one more change for Warwick for it to truly be good, because now, when you execute a minion with your first ability, you still use all of the mana. So essentially, after executing like 5 minions, you're gonna run out of mana. So I feel like they need to do it where you also refund 50% of the mana, for example, for it to be truly good. Because sure, you can execute all the minions with your first ability now. Sure, you can heal up to full HP easily in Baron, but you're gonna run out of mana in like half a minute. So I think it's good, but it's not where it should be. It's not where it should be. And then, of course, Warwick is just nice because of his second ability. Because if an enemy is low, you can gank mid lane, you can gank their jungle, and you can ult, you can do all of the good stuff, basically. Also, his third ability got buffed, where the damage reduction doesn't get taken away when you ult now. So really, really nice. Nautilus Baron lane is an underrated pick. I feel like it's going to be really, really powerful. Honestly, I haven't seen it at all this patch. But I think he's going to be really, really good this patch. Really good. Especially with the armor on Twin Guard. Because he constantly gives himself a shield. So for him to get a lot of armor and magic resist is going to be very strong. Kill. See, Kill is another one of those champions that no one talks about. I am telling you guys right now that Kill is actually S tier this patch. Because Kill herself is not that strong. But indirectly she got buffed. Because the champions, listen carefully, the champions that Kill likes to play against all got a massive buff this patch, which are tanks. Low damage tanks. See, Kill hates to play against champions like Jax, like Darius, like long range Caitlyn. She hates to play against those champions. But Kill loves to play against Mundo, against Garen, against Camille, against Gragas is a questionable one, but also Gragas, Sett, Wukong, Urgot. She loves to play against all of those champions. Sion is even the easiest matchup. So my point being right now is Kill can easily stack up her basic attacks, her Rift Maker, her Lethal Tempo on all of those champions. So when you see the right draft, you pick Kill, guys. And I will make a Kill video because I want to show it to you guys all, because there's a lot of people that think Kill sucks. And now I feel like now is the patch where she can shine. This is the patch where she can shine. Nasus is okay. I would say he's still the same. This patch didn't necessarily buff him on Nerf. You know what? Wait, an idea just popped up in my head. You can play Giga Chat Nasus. Listen to this. Amaranth Twin Guard makes you bigger. Stoneplate makes you bigger. Sterix Gauge makes you bigger. Nasus's ultimate makes you bigger. And Lulu ultimate makes you bigger. How big is Nasus gonna get? Wait. How massive is he gonna become in the game? He's gonna get a big buff 5 times. Oh my god, I need to do that. Oh wait, the fridge is open. Let me go close the fridge real quick. 1 second. Oops, the fridge was open. That's not good. Alright, next up, Akali. Don't really play Akali this patch in the Baron lane because she sucks against all of those tanks. Jace, same story for him. He doesn't like to play against those tankier types of champions. And any of the champions here like Yasuo, no. Pantheon, no. You shouldn't really play these champions too much. They're not going to be that strong in this current patch. 24 minutes into the video, we finally move into the jungle because I had so much to say about the Baron lane. So here, even though Diana is still sitting in the top of the S+ tier, the build changed. I uploaded a Diana video a few days ago. I think yesterday, actually, not a few days ago. If you haven't watched it already, watch it. Like, don't even finish this video. Go ahead and watch it because tank Diana is ridiculously strong right now. Full AP Diana is still good, but in this new tank meta, full AP Diana is not gonna be as good because full AP Diana also gets countered indirectly by this meta because she doesn't like to be played against tanks. But tank Diana is a different story, guys. Really, really powerful against tanks. So if you're against squishies, you play full AP Diana. If you're against tanks, you play tank Diana. So it's a very versatile pick. You can always first pick her if you want to and always change between those two builds to be good in the game. Now, Evelynn hates to play against tanks, but Evelynn is so ridiculously powerful that it doesn't matter. I keep saying it, and every game I play on Evelynn, I win it for free. Evelynn is the most broken champion in the game. Like, the fact that I even put Diana above her should tell you guys how strong Diana really is. In my opinion, Evelynn should get deleted from the game. You know what's funny? I actually love abusing enemies with Evelynn, but I still like this champion is so dumb in my opinion. It's absolutely dumb champion because I'm not even gonna explain why because I've done it a million times, but dumb. If you can pick her, if you want to abuse Evelynn to win games, do it. Be my guest. I'm just telling you guys to be careful of this champion and make sure you ban her. I ban her every game. Every game I ban Evelynn. Every game. Because the games that I don't, I always regret. Always. Next up is Olaf. See, Olaf jungle, guys, he's really strong right now. Olaf doesn't care about no twin guard. Olaf doesn't care about armor, magic resist, any of that. He doesn't care. All he cares about is just third ability, true damage, and walking right through the enemies. Just doesn't care at all. He wipes everything out. He does true damage. His first ability shreds the enemy armor. What else do you need in a tank meta? A champion that can shred armor and a champion that can do true damage and a champion that cannot be stopped. I don't think you need anything else. So naturally, Olaf got buffed this patch. He's very, very powerful right now. Wukong, also very powerful. He already used to be one of the top junglers and now he remains the top jungler. Even though he doesn't really utilize the new items, as I said in the Baron lane, Black Cleaver, Divine Sunderer, very, very good against tanks. Indirectly got buffed. Gragas is the same story as Baron lane, you know, AP Gragas. I'm not going to talk about it too much. He has a fast jungle clear as well. Next up is Shyvana. Shyvana also indirectly got buffed because of this patch. Because in the late game, Shyvana does true damage when she uses her third ability. Which is of course good against tanks. Because this true damage is percentage based damage. It does 3% of the enemy's maximum HP. And when you use your first ability as well, it's going to do 6%. Essentially, you can chunk down tanks. You can really chunk down tanks. Because she also builds a Bladed Rune King. So, completely anti-tank champion, Shyvana. So, very, very powerful dispatch. Kayn as well. Blue Kayn is still very good. I think they even buffed it. Did they buff it, dispatch Blue Kayn? I don't remember. They buffed Blue Kayn, I think. And I think they nerfed Red Kayn just a little bit. However, Red Kayn is still very, very good because it's an anti-tank champion. Blue Kayn is also really good. If somehow the enemy doesn't pick a lot of tanks, you can still play Blue Kayn and absolutely destroy the enemy. So you can always pick him. You either go blue or red. That's the beauty of Kayn. You can always first pick him. Aatrox jungle, same story as the Baron. You can just play him. I never play him. I don't like playing him, but I know he's strong. I have to acknowledge his power because when he ults, he's really, really powerful. And I would say sitting at the bottom of the S+ team. You know, honestly, Kha'Zix, I mean, it's hard to take out Kha'Zix out of the S+T. It's really hard for me to do because even though it's the tank meta, right, he's so strong. It's a really tough decision. Like, he's definitely bottom S tier, not middle or anything, because he completely gets hard countered by this meta. But, like, is he even S+ tier? That is the question. Is he even? I think yes. But you have to be a little bit careful during the draft. You cannot pick him into too many tanks. But even if they have a lot of tanks, you can still go for Black Cleaver, but you're not gonna one-shot tanks. Don't even think about it. Now, Morgana, on the other hand, she's really good into tanks. The jungle change did nerf Morgana because you can't take the blue buff and the big fat brown guy at the same time anymore, I think. But she's still very strong. She has a pretty fast jungle clear. Her ganking is okay-ish, but then her later game teamfight, she's going to destroy those tanks. She's going to melt through them with the pool and with her ultimate, which does percentage max HP damage. Now, Dr. Mundo jungle, guys. Dr. Mundo jungle. He has a fast jungle clear. They buffed his jungle clear recently. And of course, his Mundo. He likes to go pretty much any of the items. And he will destroy you. Like, he'll run you down, especially with the Twin Guard, with his ultimate, with Gargoyle Stoneplate. You're not going to kill him, Mundo, basically. You're not going to kill him if you play it properly. His ganking is not super good, but his late game is insane. His mid game team fighting is insane. It's just good enough. He's not that good at securing objectives either. But again, you have to sacrifice something to get back all the power Mundo has. Rammus, another tank, of course, really, really powerful as well. But you have to be careful. He doesn't really go for a lot of the new items. So, but he's just good. He's just honestly really, really good in the current patch. And I don't think Rammus should be this good, to be honest. Rammus should be a low elo champion, like an easy to play champion. But he's good in high elo as well. So what can I say? You know, his ganking is very strong. His team fighting and radiance is very strong. The only thing he really struggles against is true damage. So that's all I can say about Rammus. Lee Sin is going a little bit under the radar right now because, of course, all the tanks are shining. But Lee Sin is still good. Like, don't get me wrong, you can still pick Lee Sin. You can still dominate the game. But you have to keep in mind, late game is going to be really hard to play when you're Lee Sin. The only good thing going for you as a Lee Sin is in the late game, there's likely going to be more tanks. So your ultimate is going to do a lot more damage if you shoot an enemy tank to their team. Like, his ultimate does damage based on the enemy's bonus health, not on your health, the enemy. So if you push a very strong tank, you're going to do a lot of damage to them. Camille jungle is great in the jungle. Her jungle clear is not that fast anymore, but it's good. Just good ganking, very strong late game, good against this meta as well, just great. Riven is also okay, not too much to say about. Like, she doesn't really enjoy this patch a lot, but her jungle clear is okay, her ganking is okay. And the thing with Riven is, a really high skilled player can really utilize her kit very, very well. So like, if you know you're very good at Riven, or if you know you just have very good micro mechanics, then pick up Riven, learn this champion, and you're gonna be doing really good in the jungle. Amumu is a champion that a lot of people want me to talk about, right? Because a lot of new items came out for him. First of all, full AP Amumu is very strong right now. I would argue it's stronger than the tank build. However, the tank build is also very strong because you can go for Sunfire Aegis, Soaring Crown, and you're going to be burning the enemies like hell because your passive already gives you 10% bonus true damage. So all of the burning on top of that, you're also going to be doing true damage. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Like, you'll be pretty tanky and you're going to be burning all of them like hell. So he's good. You can play him full AP and you can play him full tank. He's not ridiculously broken or anything as many people were thinking, but he's just good. Lilia, I finally put Lilia in my tier list. I forgot her like 4 tier lists in a row. I don't know how, guys. You guys kept reminding me, but we finally got Lilia in the list. Finally. But yes, Lilia is okay. Before this update, I would have put Lilia in the A tier. Not good. You know, she's not that good. A tier is just, you can play it, but it's not gonna be amazing. However, now, she's still not good, but she likes this meta. Because you go for Riftmaker, Leandris, all the anti-tank items on her, and she does percentage-based damage. She's good into these low damage tanks. She doesn't like to play against those high damage carries that can easily dodge her stuff, but these low mobility, low damage super tanks, she loves playing against. She loves playing against because she does so much true damage as well. So pick her up now and you'll be fine. Like, you'll be doing very good against those tanks. Warwick jungle is okay. I mean, nothing special, but it's just okay. Echo gets completely countered by this meta, but in a proper draft is okay. Xin Zhao kinda gets countered by this meta as well, but he's okay. Now, Nunu is better. I actually forgot to shove Nunu up. Nunu is better. Nunu is like, definitely here. I forgot to shove up Nunu actually. Nunu is very strong. He loves the new items as well. He loves going for Twin Guard. He loves going for Soaring Crown. He loves going for Sunfire Aegis. He's a very strong tank right now. I think they changed his ultimate. I'm not sure if they did. Do you? Like, Riot kept talking about changing his ultimate where you have to hold it now with your finger. I don't know, but basically Nunu is stronger now. He's much stronger. Urgot jungle, I mean, he has a pretty fast jungle clear, but meh. I mean, meh. His ganking is really not that strong, and just don't play him. Darius jungle is very strong. Phase rush Darius, you can, you don't even have to go flash. You can go for ghost. He has really good ganking, really good team fighting. He has really good jungle clear. His blood does a lot of damage against the jungle, so you can play him in the jungle. Same story for Fiora. Irelia, I mean, I'm changing up some stuff, but like Vi is definitely better than Irelia right now. Irelia got indirectly nerfed this patch, as I said, but Vi is very strong right now. She loves the new items too, and she also likes playing against those tanks, so she fits pretty well in the meta. And of course, if the enemy have a lot of tanks and then like one main carry, you as a Vi can ult that main carry. So you even have a tool to catch a main carry. So you have everything really that you need in this patch. Shan jungle, again, meh. He has a pretty fast jungle clear, but Shan is Shan. I don't know. I just don't recommend you to play Shan. Jarvan is decent. You know, just decent, I would say. The new items are okay on him. He's okay against tanks, but you know, lethality Jarvan was the build that was crazy. I remember that he was one-shotting me on my stream the other day. But now you can't really play lethality Jarvan anymore, of course. Master Yi is surprisingly good because his third ability does true damage. And he has like an on-hit build, which is really good against tanks. You know, the Blade of the Rune King, Wits End build. But he's not that strong. He's just okay-ish, I would say. Nautilus is okay. Pantheon gets completely counted by the meta, but he's okay. Fizz gets completely counted by the meta, but he's okay. Gwen, you just don't want to play in the jungle anymore because her jungle clear is super duper slow. And then any other champion, I mean, it's playable in the jungle. Kill jungle, you know. I know it's B tier, but you could play it, but meh. Now let's go to the mid lane. And here we get a whole... Oh, I forgot one in the jungle. I forgot a champion in the jungle. I forgot Pike. Pike is bottom S plus tier. Oh, I forgot Pike. Oh my god. You can play him in the jungle now. He has a really fast jungle clear. Actually, he's stronger. He's definitely somewhere here. Like, he's way stronger than bottom S plus tier. Pike is incredibly powerful in the new patch in the jungle now. You can definitely play him right there. Because in the mid lane, he is the strongest mid laner right now. He clears lanes super fast now. They actually nerfed it before, where he would have a very slow wave clear. Now he has a super fast wave clear. And the beauty of Pike is, because of the wave clear, he can now gank. And his second ability makes him invisible for wards. The enemies will see you coming from close because they get the things around them. But wards are not going to reveal you. So enemies will not know where you are until it's too late. So you can shove wave very easily and gank super fast. And you can gank all the time. And then in the late game as well, you know, you can execute enemies, even if they're tanks. If they're under like 700-800 HP, depending on how much attack damage and lethality you have, you're just going to execute them. So he's very, very good right now. Really strong. Diana mid lane, same story as bot lane. You know, tank Diana, AP Diana, you can play it all. She's going to be great in the mid lane. Orianna, this is a champion that I always talk about, guys. Orianna, she is so damn powerful. The way you need to play Orianna, when did I upload my last Orianna video actually? Maybe I should make a new one, but like, you just chill in the early game. Just farm yourself up, get as much gold as you can, and late game, you'll destroy anyone, including tanks. Like, you'll destroy tanks as well. Ridiculously powerful. And for me, she's very easy to play. No, you know what? She's actually not easy to play because you do have to hit your balls on the enemy's faces pretty well. So she's actually not that easy to play. Never mind. But she's so strong. And if you haven't picked up Orianna yet, just watch a few of my Orianna videos and pick her up. Because, like, if you know how to play her, you can pretty much win almost every game in the late. Unless your team is like completely stupid, you can win every game. Zoe, she gets destroyed by this patch. Completely demolished. But she's so strong that she's still chilling in the middle of the S plus tier. She's just so strong. Like, you have to make sure you're not up against too many tanks that when you play Zoe. It's a bit draft reliant. She used to be top S plus tier, but I actually nerfed her a little bit. But she's still so strong. She does so much burst damage if you hit her sleep and everything like that. But again, keep in mind you can't really pick her against too many tanks, which is a bit hard this patch. Akali, same story. She's very strong, but she gets countered by those tanks. Annie, same story. Very, very strong, but gets countered by those tanks. She cannot one-shot Amundo. She cannot one-shot a Garen. She cannot one-shot those champions. And every game you're going to see them. So now it's actually draft reliant. You can't just pick Annie whenever you want. You can't just pick Akali whenever you want. You have to take a look at the draft. Same story with Vex. Vex is very good against squishes, but not good against tanks. All like the four last champions that I talked about, Annie, Vex, Akali, and Zoe, they're all good. They're all really good in this patch, but just you have to be careful with the draft. That's the one thing. Ahri is always going to be good because she does true damage with her first ability. Even against a tank, she's going to be great. Also, if you can't finish off the enemy, Ahri is good because she can charm the enemy. So even if you charm a tank, you're going to allow your team to do a lot of damage to that charmed enemy. And in addition to your true damage, you're going to be doing good into tanks as well. And the recent change they did to Ari also made her stronger, which is her ultimate getting another stack when you kill an enemy and you healing up when you kill an enemy. So Ari is just okay. Irelia got nerfed indirectly, as I said. You have to pay attention to the draft. But a good Irelia is a good Irelia. What can I say? A good Irelia is going to wipe the enemy anyways. Yone and... Okay, so Yone, same story, but Yone just still feels pretty strong. Actually, Yasuo is better though, because you know why Yasuo is better? Because Yasuo has his ultimate. He shreds armor with his ultimate, and a lot of the tank champions have a knock up. So when they knock up the enemy, Yasuo can follow up with his ultimate and destroy them. So like Yasuo doesn't have any trouble shredding through tanks. So he's definitely better than Yone and Irelia. Again, like I forget to move some champions, or I didn't think about it then, but Yasuo is definitely good this patch. Yeah, as I said, Irelia and Yone are okay. Katarina is the same story as same story as Irelia. A great Katarina is still gonna hard carry the game. Really, regardless of the meta and anything like that, a good Katarina and a good Yone, good Katarina and a good Irelia, they're always gonna be good. They're always gonna be good. So the thing about these champions is, I honestly don't think they're S plus tier, but the thing is, the players that play these champions are always really good at them. So that's why I'm moving them up a little bit, because it's mostly one tricks that play these types of champions. So naturally, they're gonna be better. Brand loves this patch. Brand used to be middle S tier for me, but now he's sitting in the S plus tier. Brand is definitely an S plus tier champion, 100%. I made a Brand video the other day. Highly suggest you to check it out, because you need to get good at Brand right now. You can abuse tanks like crazy, because all of his damage is percentage-based damage. So he's really, really, really powerful right now. Really powerful. Like, maybe even higher up than this, but like really powerful. Akshan, he has a good on-hit anti-tank build as well, but even without that, Akshan is really strong. Akshan is really, really strong in the mid lane. And he does really well into the current strong champions as well. He does well into Pyke, he does well into Diana, he does well into these melee champions. And as you can see, there's a lot of melee champions in the mid lane. So naturally, you're going to be able to win more lanes as an Akshan, because you're not matched up against, like a Zed or Khazadin, or against Morganas, against Fizzes. You're not matched up against these annoying champions, because they're generally not going to be picked as much as the top S plus tier champions. So that's why Akshan is better right now. Khazadin is great too. The only problem is the tank meta. I've still put him very high up, because severely draft reliant pick, by the way. But if the enemy draft doesn't have tanks, Khazadin is like high S plus tier. But because there's so many tanks right now that are going to be picked, I dropped him down to the S tier. He's still good, but he is completely draft reliant. Zed, even though it's a tank meta, Zed is really, really nice. Like, he can get to the squishies whenever he wants to. So even if it's a tank meta, he'll be able to get to the squishies. And if a tank decides to go in and do as much damage as he can, Zed's ultimate will take care of that, because it does pre-mitigation damage. It stores that up. So it essentially stores up true damage, and only then does it do the damage, physical damage. The beauty of that is, let me tell you the beauty of that. It stores pre-mitigation damage, so all of the damage you're doing, it stores it as true damage, then it does it as physical damage. Keep in mind, when you go Black Cleaver on Zed, so before it does the physical damage, you will have shred 25% of the enemy's armor. So you'll do full damage in the beginning, and then the enemy is only going to be using 75% of his armor. So you'll do a lot of damage to tanks as well if you go for the Black Cleaver. So keep that in mind. And tanks are generally not as mobile, so you can very easily hit your shurikens on them and just really chunk them down. So keep that in mind when you play Zed. Corki is I mean, he works into this patch. He works into this meta. Sorry, he works. But people are kind of theory crafting with Corki build right now. I can't say too much about him. I think he's just gonna be a comfortable high S tier. But we'll see. We'll see. Like his package is really, really good into this meta, because it's very good into melee champions. He's just good. Honestly, we have to see where Corki goes. I can't say too much about him. Veigar is amazing right now, because Veigar loves to play against melee champions. Naturally, tanks are melee champions. Or even like if you have Urgot, who is a ranged champion, he's very slow. And Veigar loves slow champions, because he can put a cage around them and just destroy them. So in the current meta, Veigar is super powerful. Super powerful. Like honestly, I would almost even put him in the S plus tier, but not S plus tier, just S tier, I would say. Galio is okay. He's not gonna find a good spot in the meta, but he's okay. Like the reason that he won't find a good spot is because people are not gonna pick AP assassins, right? Not as many. You know, the Evelyns, the well, I always ban Evelyn, so I wouldn't actually even know. But I'm not gonna expect people to pick as much Evelyn, Akali, Katarina, Vex as before. And that's when you want to pick Galio in the mid lane when you're up against those AP assassins. Gragas full AP, yet again, no explanation needed. Ziggs is great actually. Ziggs is really good. He's able to really do a lot of damage to tanks. I know Ziggs is like very nice into long range squishies, but in my opinion, Ziggs is also good into these tanks because you can just build Leandris. You build Leandris and you constantly bombard them with your abilities. Because you throw bombs at them, you're bombarding them with your abilities. Uh, yes. And do a lot of damage to them. So yeah, you just have to stay safe, and you have your second ability to stay safe, so you can push the enemy away and push yourself away as well. So it's not easy to play Ziggs right now in this current meta like it used to be before, because before all you really had to do is just be able to hit your bombs. Now you actually also have to be good at hitting your second ability, to avoid an enemy diving you, because these tanks are gonna dive you. Echo, again, got nerfed in the current meta, so he's just sitting in a comfortable mid S tier. Twisted Fate is really good as well. He doesn't like to play against tanks, but I would still say he's sitting in an S tier because Twisted Fate is just very, very strong. Karma is okay, Lux is okay, Lucian okay. Singed got up to the S tier because he counters the meta, and Singed counters the melee champions. This is why Singed got up in the mid lane. So if you're up against a Pyke, against a Diana, against Akali, against any melee champion, literally any, you can just pick Singed and you'll have an easy lane in the mid lane. And when you scale into the late game, you're gonna be very, very powerful. Keep that one in your heads. If you're a Singed player, you can go mid lane and sneak the Singed pick in the mid lane. Fizz countered by the meta, Pantheon countered by the meta. Aurelion Sol, I honestly have no comment. I have no idea how good Aurelion Sol is right now. And any other champion. Honestly, Seraphine got buffed though, so like Seraphine does deserve to be higher up. She actually also counters the meta. I wouldn't say she's S tier, but she's definitely top A tier. Alright, next up is the Dragon Lane. And here I had been thinking a lot about the picks, because a lot shifted here as well. Even though this patch doesn't really change much for the ADCs, a lot shifted because, of course, tanks are good now. So naturally, naturally, ADCs that are good against tanks are gonna go up. So I put Vayne in the top first, but then I really realized what, Ezreal is stronger because Ezreal you're not reliant on an enchanter. As a Vayne, you're more reliant to have an enchanter support. But Ezreal, you can always pick him. And Ezreal is also good against tanks. Even if you go for a Trinity Force, which is generally not an anti-tank item, Ezreal will do a lot of upfront damage. Especially in the late game, because then you build a Blade of the Doom King. So you're going to be able to chunk down tanks, because the thing about tanks is normally they can just step up and soak up your damage. Because if you look at most ADCs, Samira, Tristana, Kai'Sa, Senna, Lucian, Ashe, Jinx, Caitlyn, Jhin, all of the ADCs, they're not going to be able to chunk down a tank as fast, right? Like they're really not going to be able to. But Ezreal, if you're skilled with hitting your abilities, he's going to chunk down tanks. His first ability really does a lot of damage. So you can't really afford to tank up damage from Ezreal too much as other champions, right? And the thing is, even if the enemy doesn't have a lot of tanks, Ezreal is a good pick. It's a very versatile pick, and you can always play him now. He's always going to be a good pick in the current meta. Now let's talk about Varus, because there's a reason why I put Varus even above Vayne. Because AP Varus, oh boy, guys, oh boy. AP Varus, I honestly is not discovered yet. I'm not seeing enough people play AP Varus. Like probably like 20% of my, no, you know what? Probably like 10% of my games have a Varus. But that's not enough. He is so strong. He is so strong. It's crazy. He will like one-shot a tank in the late game. They keep buffing him. And you know what's funny? Varus' ultimate also got buffed. It does more damage in the late game. It does 100 more flat damage. And it has 20% more AP scaling. Essentially, it'll do like almost double the damage. It's crazy. The ult is crazy. Like, I can't believe that they buffed AP Varus. And of course, in the tank meta, which is exactly what AP Varus hard counters, like there is not a single champion in the game that counters tanks as hard as Varus. Like even Vayne is not as good against tanks as Varus. It's not even normal AP Varus. So all you have to do, play your lane relatively safely, get yourself to a few items and just absolutely hard carry, like no mercy on the enemy tanks, like a hot knife through butter. That's how you're going to be playing AP Varus in the late game. I will make a video about him, but bear in mind I'm not as good at Varus as other champions, so it will need some time for me to get good at him. It may take a few days, it may take a few weeks, hell, it may take a few months. I'm not going to release a video on him if I'm not good enough on him. I know there's going to be a lot of viewers on that video, but I'm gonna maintain my strategy of YouTube, which is get as good as I can on the champion before uploading a video on it. Yes, I'm gonna do it like that. So for you Varus lovers out there, let's just hope I can get good at this champion fast. Next up is Vayne. Doesn't need an introduction. Anti-tank champion. The thing about Vayne is though, a little bit harder to play in lane because she doesn't have as much range as Varus, for example, or Ezreal. So you will get bullied in lane. But of course, when you reach the late game, completely destroy tanks. Not as much as Varus, but you will demolish tanks. Like it's not even funny. The true damage. Enemies can build any twin guards they want. You know, they can build any items they want, but your true damage is gonna shred through them, and it shreds through percentage-based HP. So yeah, but you have to get to that later stage of the game. Vayne really starts to get strong at like level 7 when she maxes her second ability. So you have to just get through that early stage of the game. You know, Varus has an easier time getting through it because he has longer range. Vayne, if you're up against a very aggressive lane, you're gonna struggle in lane. So like you just really have to play it safe. Catch out the enemy when you can. Don't forget about this. Like a lot of people play Vayne too safe, right? When I say play safe, it's like when the enemy is in lane, you have to be careful to not get bullied in lane and then get ganked. But when you're in a 1v1 situation, go for it. You will win almost every single 1v1. Is there a single, maybe Tristana wins a 1v1 against Vayne. Maybe Tristana. But any ADC will lose on it. Even Draven has a hard time 1v1ing Vayne if they both have the same gold. Vayne is a 1v1 queen, especially if you can push an enemy into the wall. Go for it. Just go for it. Like, I'm telling you to play safe, but there are moments where you just go for it. Like, if your team is turret diving, you go for it. If you're in a 1v1 situation, you go for it. But besides that, play it safe until the late game, and then in the late game, you go for it. You see? Oh yeah. So next up is Zeri. Zeri does really well against those lower mobility tanks as well. She loves playing against them. She really loves it. I'm working on a new Zeri video. I'm struggling with the build though, because everyone is building Trinity Force on Zeri, but every game that I build Trinity Force, I'm completely inting the game. And every game I'm going full crit, I'm dominating the game. So just like my Jhin, I will go against what 99% of the people are building on the champion and make my own build and present to you guys that build. Of course, I'm going to show you guys the mainstream build as well. And I'm going to explain it, but I'm not going to play something just because it's mainstream. I'm going to play whatever I think is correct. And I don't think Trinity Force is good on her. So I'm kind of figuring it out right now. But Zeri is really strong right now. She's really, really strong. You know, she's not necessarily an anti-tank, but she's just really strong in this meta. Just her base stats are very, very powerful. Samira, you know, you can build her with a Black Cleaver. She's going to be very strong, even in this tank meta. Not as strong as before though. I would always put her like at the top because of course these other ADCs are outshining her now because these other ADCs do way better into tanks. Tristana is okay. You know, she's okay. She's fine. And she can also chunk down tanks. But I wouldn't say she's amazing right now. She's just okay. Just you know, S+ tier, she's great, but nothing crazy. Senna is amazing, but you have to pick her in an ADC role with like a Nasus support or like a Gragas support, you know, or Ashe support, something like that. And then you just play Senna. Sorry, not Ashe actually, not Ashe. You can't play Senna Ashe anymore. It doesn't really work. But yeah, you just pick it with a tank, let the tank take the farm, and you just do your thing as a Senna. Kai'Sa is also great. She doesn't have a lot of range. She will get bullied in lane a little bit by most champions, but she's great. She's just like Kai'Sa you can always play. She's always okay. Like that's the thing about Kai'Sa. She's always okay. She's never really broken, Never weak, always a solid pick. So if you don't know what to pick, just pick Kai'Sa. Lucian is fine as well. Sorry, Lucian is fine as well. Nothing special really. He's just fine. Ashe. The thing about Ashe is she has this anti-tank build with a Bladed Rune King, and it's pretty good. But there's all that the new items. The Amaran Twin Guard gives the enemies 20% tenacity, and then the other item I don't know the name of it. It gives like 30% slow reduction. So naturally you're gonna get nerfed as an Ashe because she fully relies on CC and slowing. So if there are items now in the game that are very good that are countering that type of thing, it counters it. But Ashe is still S tier because she's very good against tanks. She chunks down tanks. She can chunk them down. It's just the new tank items are pretty good into Ashe. So it's a bit of a mixed story yet again, where she indirectly gets buffed and nerfed. But she's fine. She's good. You can definitely play her. Jinx. Oh, Jinx. Jinx is a bit of a rough one because she will struggle. She will definitely struggle this patch. And I only really recommend you to pick Jinx when you have an enchanter support. Without an enchanter support, I really don't recommend you to play Jinx in this patch right now. Her second ability actually got buffed. You can hit it easier because now it actually goes up with attack speed. The more attack speed you have, the faster you shoot your second ability. So she actually became better. I need to turn off an alarm on my phone real quick. Yes, there we go. So yeah, Jinx is a questionable one, but she got buffed, but she got nerfed because of the patch. Caitlyn, I really don't think Caitlyn is good, but I'm seeing a lot of people still playing Caitlyn, so I gotta respect that a lot of people think Caitlyn is good. I would have put her in like middle A tier, but I'm putting her bottom S tier because I think maybe I am misunderstanding Caitlyn because she did get nerfed. Her base damage got nerfed, and she's not good into tanks. So I would say she's like mid A tier. Playable, but not recommended. But because I'm seeing her surprisingly often, I'm just putting her in the bottom S tier just in case. Corki, I don't really play Corki. Veigar, bot lane, meh. Jhin got nerfed in this match, meta super hard. Xayah, I mean, don't even talk about Xayah. Who even plays Xayah, to be honest? Akshan is okay. Draven also got indirectly nerfed because Draven, he hates playing against tanks. Honestly, Orianna is way better than these ones. So it's looking more like this. Miss Fortune is absolute garbage right now, by the way. Like, absolute hot garbage. Miss Fortune got completely destroyed by this meta. She does 0 damage to tanks, so never even think about picking Miss Fortune, to be honest. Next up, support. And the stupid cat is on top of the tier list again. Who would have guessed that Yuumi would make it again? I almost dropped my water. I mean, what a stupid champion. What a stupid champion. Oh, you are reliant on your team. I only really recommend you to pick it in duo queue. But she's so broken when you do pick it in duo queue. Like, she has so many strong stats. And you don't even have to go for Ardent. You don't even have to go for support items on her, like Ardent Sensor. You literally go full AP. You go for Luden's Echo, Infinity Orb, Rabbanel's Death Cap, and your first ability is basically going to chunk down half the HP of an enemy squishy. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't even know why that's a thing. Like, Yuumi is supposed to be a buffing champion, not a carry champion that does so much damage. So I don't know what's wrong with her, but she's S+ tier again. Nami is very, very strong right now. Even in the tank meta, even in anything, she's just a very powerful champion. And honestly, I should put Karma up as well here. Nami is very, very strong. Like, always good. Like, she bullies in the lane. She has a very good ultimate. She has great healing and everything, really. She has everything. She's just a solid pick always. Pyke, Pyke got buffed as well. Yeah, as I said, he pushes waves faster and stuff. Doesn't really help him too much in the support role, but Pyke is just so powerful. Like, I feel like we're underrating him a little bit. The thing is, you have to be really good at him though. But he's just so strong. He has the hooking. He has a good team fighting. He has good ganking. Yes, he really has everything. Like, he really has everything that he needs as an assassinating type of support. So if your team, and especially in this meta, he also got buffed because back in the previous meta, I actually put him in the S tier back in previous metas. The reason being is, as a support, you generally need to be a bit tankier because, you only really pick Pyke if your team needs more damage. So naturally, it's going to be good in the mid lane because mid lane is supposed to be damage. But now, because it's the tank meta, your jungler is likely going to be a tank. Your Baron laner is likely going to be a tank. This will make it better for you to pick Pyke in the support role. Because your team is going to lack damage. You have enough tankiness. So you play Pyke and you finish off the enemies. So yet again, indirectly, he got buffed. So it's not necessarily his actual buffs, which is, him being able to take minions faster, that made Pyke S plus tier. It's yet again the new meta. Because your team is going to have tanks already. So you don't need to fill in that role. You can fill in the role of more damage. And he has true damage, which is an anti-tank thing. So it's all of this that I put together and made Pyke S plus tier. He is definitely S plus tier right now. Sona also got buffed by this meta, by the way. Sona is really, really good when you surround her with tanks. Because she provides them with barriers, she provides them with heals. So essentially, normally you only want to pick Sona when you have tanks in your team. But she's so broken in Wild Rift that you can always pick her. But as I said now, because there's so many tanks, it makes Sona even stronger. So play Sona. I always say it. Sona is one of the easiest champions to utilize to rank yourself up and get to Challenger if you want to. And especially this patch. Senna is also really good into tanks. Senna is just good in general as a support. Wouldn't necessarily say S plus tier. Actually, you know what? She is actually S plus tier. But you just have to be very good at her. I remember now that they also buffed her first ability recently, where it allows you to slow the enemy. Definitely actually S plus tier. 100%. Like, what was I even talking about? You just have to be good at the champion. You're watching one of the best Senna players, so make sure you watch my Senna videos. Make sure you watch them and just play Senna yourself and you'll find out. She's ridiculously powerful. Like, ridiculously powerful. And yet again, same story as Pyke. Because there's more tanks around now, naturally it makes carry supports better. Because you as a Senna are going to do a lot of damage. And if your team already has a Garen in the Baron lane and a Wukong in the jungle, you don't need another tank. You don't need Alistar support. You pick Senna support, right? So that's all the thought process behind it. Janna is Janna, just always a solid pick. The buffs she provides are very good. The Tornado is great. The ult is great. And the second ability, which allows her to be like a sort of a secondary carry as well, very, very good. Thresh kind of fell off a little bit this patch because Thresh doesn't really like to be against tanks because you know the feeling where you hook an enemy but then you realize you just hooked a Garen. What are you gonna do to a Garen? You're gonna tickle him, right? So that's the thing with Thresh. It's much harder to play him effectively in this patch right now. Ashe support is great, really, really good. I didn't really think she would be good this patch. Yet again, I say it again. Tank meta, you can get away with picking damage supports. Ashe becomes better. Soraka is meh. She's fine, but meh. I don't really like Soraka too much, but it's okay. Sitting in bottom S tier. Nautilus is also okay, but keep in mind, tanky supports are just not the thing anymore, to be honest. Because everyone picks tanks already, so... But it's good. Because of the new tank items, of course it's good. But keep in mind, your team does need enchanters or extra damage. Lulu is fine. I hate talking about Lulu, so I'm just not gonna do it actually. Alistar support is fine. Great for diving and stuff like that. Not necessary in this meta, but it's fine. Gragas support is also okay. Nasus support is... You only really want to pick Nasus support when you have like a Senna ADC or something like that. But, Ashe is also good. Basically, you only want to pick Nasus support if you have a long range ADC. Caitlyn also works. Jinx could work as well, because the whole point is you want to dominate your lane with it. Because Nasus uses his third ability on the enemy, poking them and applying Font of Life, and then your long range ADC is supposed to hit that enemy and heal you two up. So the whole point of Nasus support is to win lane. That's the whole point. Seraphine support is way better than this. I forgot. I keep some champions I forget to change because Seraphine's second ability buff is absolutely massive. And Seraphine is good into tanks. So, win-win. If you're a Seraphine main, now is the time to play. Throttles, if you're listening to this is the time you need to play Wild Rift again, okay? Seraphine is an absolute banger champion right now, especially when a player like you plays this champion. Leona is fine. It's I'm not gonna start saying that Leona is weak because it's tank meta. Your team is already gonna have tank. Leona is fine. She's great because she can also dive the enemy squishies from a very long distance. Her ultimate has a long distance. So even though there's tanks in front of you, you can still dive very easily as a Leona. Now Rakan, I would say, did definitely get nerfed indirectly, really hard. Because there's nothing funnier than seeing a full AP Rakan engage into a tanky enemy. He's not gonna do anything, and he's gonna get one shot. So don't play Rakan Dispatch anymore. Just don't. It's not gonna work, basically. And any of the champions that are here, you know, they're situational picks or they're just not that good. Like honestly, Blitzcrank is better than this, but like even Blitzcrank, like you don't really want to pick him because it's not a good anti-tank champion. So I guess I'll leave him right there. And then you know when we look at Mundo is you only want to pick Mundo if you're up against Thresh. Mundo destroys Thresh. So in this meta, if the enemy support picks Thresh, pick Mundo and demolish them in lane. You'll have a free lane. Any, you only pick any support if you're against a Sona. That's it. Anything else I need to talk about in the support? Oh yeah, don't play Malphite support, please. Every single Malphite support that I've ever had in my life has been an absolute giga inter. Don't play it. You see that? Alright. So that's it about the video. And thank you very much for watching. And I will see you all in the next VOD video. Bye bye.